Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the Java 8 optional class. So what is Java 8 optional class, why it is introduced, and how we can create optional in Java 8. That is all we are going to discuss in this video. So let's get started for that, and let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about the Java 8 optional class first. And then the purpose of it, and then we'll see why we are using it and how we can use it. Everything we are going to see, and we are also going to see what all the methods this optional class have and how we can use it out. So let's get started for that, and let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about the optional class first. So what is optional class? In Java 8, the optional class was introduced to handle the situation where a value might be absent. So let's say you forgot to provide some value to some variable, and when you are not providing anything, automatically that value becomes null. So in Java 8, the optional class was introduced to handle the situation where a value might be absent or where the value is null. So this is the main purpose of optional class. It handles the situation where a value might be null or absent, helping to eliminate null pointer exception and explicitly representing the presence or the absence of a value. So it helps us to eliminate the null pointer exception that will get if we are not using the optional. Okay, so it will help us avoiding the null pointer exception when we use the optional class. Okay, and explicitly representing the presence or the absence of a value. It also explicitly represent if the value is present, and if it is not present, it also by default gives some values. Or if you want to throw some custom exception, it will allow you to do that. So this is what the optional class is. Its main purpose is to handle the null pointer exception. Now let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about the purpose of optional. The primary purpose of optional is to make it clear when a value might be absent and force the developer to handle this scenario explicitly, rather than allowing null values to propagate through the codes and potentially cause unexpected null pointer exception. Okay, so this is the purpose. The main purpose of the optional class is to handle the null pointer exception or force the developer to handle the null pointer exception scenarios by using the optional class. Now let me try to go to next slide and discuss about why we are using optional. Okay, why use optional? So I have listed down 3 points here. The first one is clarity. It makes code more readable and self-explanatory by explicitly indicating that a value might not be present. Okay, so let's say some value is going to be absent. Then with the help of optional, we'll wrap out those values. With the help of optional, it will automatically tell the developer that this value might be absent. Okay, so it is self-explanatory by explicitly indicating that a value might not be present. So this improves the code quality, and it clears the developers that what is the situation, what is the scenario here. Okay, so the first point is clarity. It makes code more readable and self-explanatory by explicitly indicating that a value might not be present. Now the second point is avoiding null pointer exception. By using optional, you are encouraged to handle scenarios where a value may or may not be exist. Okay. Now the third point is enforcing best practices. It promotes a better design by forcing developers to think about and handle the absence of a value. So these are the main purpose why you should use optional: clarity, avoiding null pointer exception, and enforcing some best practices. Now let me try to go to next slide and discuss about how we can use the optional. Okay, how to use the optional. So first of all, we are going to see how we can create the optional, I would say, objects or optional values. So you can see that I have listed down 3 codes, or you can say 3 statements that you can use to create the optional. So let's say if you want to create some optional value of a string, so you can call the optional class and define the generic here, which is a string here. And let's say we are giving the variable name as optional value with value, and we are creating the optional with some value. So you can use this optional.off method and provide some value that you want to store here. Okay. Now the second one is explaining how you can create a optional with a null value, and the third one is explaining you how you can create an optional with the empty value. So this is how you can create the optional. Now let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about how we can retrieve the values from an optional variable. Like get methods retrieve the value if it presents. However, avoid using get without checking for presence to avoid no such element exception. So make sure that when the optional variable contains a value, then only go and use the get. Otherwise, if it is not containing any value, it is empty or null, then it will throw you no such element exception. Okay. Now here you can see that we have created one optional variable with some value, and you can see that if you want to apply this get method on this variable, you will find some values there, and if the value is not present there, you will get this no such element exception. Now in that case, if you want to by default store some values, then you can use this or else method and store some value that you want to store there in the result. Okay. Or there is also another method which is or else get, where you can use supplier functional interface and provide some value that you want to put in. Okay, so these are the two or else get method that you can use to provide the default value to this variable. Okay, so this is about the get and or else get method. Now let me try to go to next slide, and here you can see that how we can use or else get method. You can see or else get method expect the supplier, and here you can see with the help of supplier, like with the help of lambda expression, we are calling the I think supply method of the supplier and providing some value here. Okay, now coming to the next method that optional class has is or else throw, which is used to throw an exception. Okay, throw an exception if the value is not present. Like let's say we have created one optional variable, and that variable is empty or null. Then in that case, if you want to throw some custom exception, you can use this or else throw method and try to override this no such element exception and provide your value. So here we are providing the value as value not present. Okay. Similarly, if you want to check for the presence, you can use this isPresent method, which is returning a boolean. It checks if the value is present or not. Now if you'll see there, let's say you have created one optional value or optional variable, you can say, and you want to check if the value is present there or not, then you can use this isPresent method. And if the value is present, it will provide you one true, and if it is not present, it will give you the false. And if you want to use this true and false condition and put some let's say if else conditions there, then you can use it out. Okay, so you can see that we are going to use this optional value, and we are seeing that if it is present, then try to print out the value is present and print out the value as well. So it is also taking some consumer here, and you can use it out. Okay, so this is about the methods that are present inside the optional class. Now if you'll go to the next slide, you will find this summary here. So let me try to read out the summary for you. Optional encourages explicit handling of the absence of values, making core more robust and less error prone when dealing with the potential missing values. So the main purpose of the optional class is to handle the null pointer exception. How better you can handle the null pointer exception, that is the use case of optional class. So this is about the video. Now let me try to come out of it and go to the IntelliJ, try creating one Java application, and then show you the use case of the optional, how you can use it out, and all the things that we have discussed, we'll practically try to implement it out as well. So let me try to come out of it. Now let me try to come out of it and go to IntelliJ, create one simple Java project, and then try to discuss or implement the thing that we have discussed here in this video. So let me try to come out of it and go to the IntelliJ and create one simple Java project. So I already have opened the IntelliJ. Here you can come to the menu and go to the file and new and project. Now you have to select this new project and you have to give the name of your project. So let's say the name would be optional in Java 8. Okay. And just create this project, open it in a new tab, and then wait for a few seconds. Once the settings are done, we can start doing the development. Okay, so I think the dependency and all the things are resolved. Now we can do the development here. So what we discussed is, first we have discussed that how we can create the functional object, or you can say the functional variables in the Java 8. So that is what we are going to discuss first. We are going to create it out, and then after that we'll try to see what all the methods that we have discussed there. Okay, so let me try to show you. So here you can see that if you want to create a optional instance, then there is a 3 methods. If you want to create the optional instance with the value, then you can use this off method, and then if you want to create a nullable one, then you can use off nullable, and if you want to create the empty one, you can use dot empty. So let me try to create it out and then show you. So go inside this menu, main method, and let me try to run this and then see if it is working or not. So it should print hello world. It will work. So you can see that it is working fine. Let me try to comment out this hello world and try to create one instance of the optional class. So just optional, and let's say of a string type, and let me try to create optional with value, optional, and optional with value. Okay, this is the object name, or you can say instance name. Now let me try to import this optional here. So how you can import it? Just import it out, and let me try to create optional of and just provide some value here. So let's say optional, or let's say anything we can give, right? Any name we can give. Let's say engineering. Okay, now just put it here, and then what we have to do is let me try to simply print it out and then show you what we are getting out of it. So just print the optional with value instance that we have created. Just run this and then see the result. So here you can see that it is coming like optional, and then inside the optional we are getting this value that we are providing here. Okay, if you want to get out the exact value, not this coming like wrapper class of the optional, just want to get the exact value, then there is a method, I think, get, and you can get it out. So just run this and you will get this exact value here. Okay, so this is one way of creating the optional object, or you can say instance of the optional. Let me try to discuss the others way, where we can see that how we can create the optional from off nullable and from empty. So let me try to do those things and try to print it out and then see what result we are getting for them. So just I copied it, paste it here. Let me try to create it from off nullable and optional with the optional off nullable, something like that, and just print out the thing here and then run this and then see. So here you can see that we are getting this object, or you can say the string again. Okay, if you want to throw it some let's say null value, then you can just pass nothing here, or you can pass the null here, I would say, and it will throw you the null pointer it will give you some no such element exception. You are getting that it is not giving you the null pointer exception. Okay, even if you are having a null value, you are not getting a null pointer exception. You are getting this no such element exception, right? So this is how this optional handles the null pointer exception. Now let me try to create the optional from empty and then show you the result for that. So just copy it out and paste it here. Just say empty and do nothing here. Optional from or of empty, something like that. We are just going to create and just copy it, paste it here, and then run this. Okay, let me try to return some different value from here so that we can go to the third statement that we are printing out here, because it is terminating from here itself. So just let's say we are going to provide some value, let's say engineering at the 1, something like that. And just you have to remove this piece of code. Now run this again and then see the result. So here you can see that we are getting the result and we are printing out engineering adda from the first one. You can see that for the first one we are providing this engineering adda as a value. For the second one we are providing engineering adda 1 as a value, and for the third one we are creating this empty object and printing it out. So for the first two we are getting the result. For the third one we are not getting anything. We are getting this no such element exception. Okay, even when we are creating the empty object and we are printing it out, we are not getting null pointer exception. We are getting no such element exception. So you can see that this is how this optional class help us in avoiding the null pointer exception. Okay, so this is about how you can create the objects of the null optional classes. Okay, now let me try to discuss about the others method provided by the optional class. So first of all we are going to discuss about the or else and or else get method. So let me try to do that. So just let me try to come here and print out something here. Let's say we are going to take this optional of empty object which is returning no such element exception and try to apply this or else method and then try to print something here. Let's say or else. Okay, and just try to print out this piece of code. Okay, let me try to remove this, come here and apply it out. Just run this and then see the result. So I think we are breaking here. So just let me try to comment out this piece of code and try to run this. And here you can see that we are getting this or else. Even when we have created this empty object, we are using this or else method to provide the value that does not fulfill the like if the object is empty, then you can supply this values in that case. That is where the or else method is used. Okay, so you can see that the optional of empty object is empty. When we are simply trying to access this out, optional of empty object, we are getting no such element exception. But when we are providing this, or when we are applying this, or when we are using this or else method of the optional class at this optional of empty object, we are getting some result here. Okay, so this is the use case of the or else method. Now let me try to discuss about the others or else method here. So you can see that or else get, and it take the supplier, not simple object here. So it take the supplier. Now if you have already remember about the supplier, how we can create the supplier objects, or how we can implement the supplier using the lambda expression, then we can directly apply those things here. Now before going to do those things, let me try to go inside this or else get method and show you what it takes. So you can see that it takes this supplier as a argument here. So you have to provide some supplier value to this or else get and get that value in the result. So just come here and we can just simply supply something here. So let's say or else get, okay, and then we are printing it out, right? Now let me try to run this and then see the result. So you can see that we are getting this or else get. So the things are working fine. This is how you can use this or else get method in the optional class. Now let me try to discuss about the others method that we have discussed there. Okay, so just go down and discuss about the others methods. So we saw that how we can create the optional object, and now we also seen about the get one and or else get method, how they works. And now we'll see or else throw. Okay, how we can throw the exception if the things are not going the way that you wanted. Okay, so throw an exception if the value is not present. So how we can do that, how we can use this or else throw method, that is what we are going to discuss here. Okay, so just come out of it and let's say we have this optional of empty object, and what we are going to do is we are going to throw some exception out of it. So just call this or else throw, and then here you can see that there is a two version of or else throw. One is taking a simple string, the second one is taking the supplier as an input. So just first one we are going to see the or else throw and then try to run it and then see the result. So you can see that we are getting this no such element exception. We are throwing this exception here. Now if you want to customize this exception, you can input the supplier here, and according to your custom messages that you are going to apply in the supplier, you will get the result. Okay, so just let me try to do that. And here let's say throw how we can do that, throw. So let me try to go inside this and then see the things. Okay, so if you go inside this, you will see or else throw, and there would be some other version of this also, I think so. So you can see that this one is taking this supplier. Okay, so let me try to provide the supplier there and then show you the result. So let me try to go to this place where we are using this or else throw, and it is inside the main, right? Go inside the main, and here let me try to apply the supplier here. So just use this, and we should be throwing a new exception. Okay, you can see this new runtime exception and all. So just throw this runtime exception, and here let's say we are going to print something or else throw demo, and then see what we are getting. So here you can see that we are printing out this or else throw demo. So the custom message that you want to print according to the scenario where you are writing this piece of code, you can provide it out and get the result here. Okay, so this is how you can use this or else throw method. So we have discussed about the get method, we have discussed about the or else method, we have discussed about the or else get method, and now we have discussed about the or else throw method. Now let me try to go to the PPT again and see something else that we have discussed. So we have this is present, which checks the value if present or not. So you can see that optional value is present, execute the block of code. If the value is present, then okay. So this is a Boolean method that checks if the value is present or not. So let me try to show you that thing as well. So we have this optional with value object created. Let me try to use that and then see the result. So just go to the is present and try to simply print out the result here. So just run this piece of code and then see. Okay, let me try to comment out this piece of code where we are throwing the exception and then run this again. So here you can see that the value is present and we are getting the true. Now if you'll use this optional of empty and then see the result what we are getting. So just run it and then wait. So you can see that we are getting false. So we don't have any value in this object optional of empty. That is why we are getting the false here. So this is about the optional class. We have discussed about the basic of optional, why we are using it out, what is the purpose of it, and how we can create the optional object. And then we have discussed the various kind of method of the optional class. Okay, so this is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button. And in the previous videos, I already have discussed all the features of the Java 8. So go and watch out that playlist. And if you like the channel, then please subscribe the channel. Thanks.